Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is Kimberly Lincoln, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer and Operations Officer with Gaia Provides. And today we're doing a short interview with Miss Bonnie-Jill Laflin. I think I said that correct?
Yes, Bonnie, it's Laflin, but Laughlin.
Laflin. Laflin. Okay, let's get it right. So, very impressive background in history. You are currently a female sports broadcaster, the only scout for the Lakers. You were once an NFL cheerleader, and now you have this wonderful rescue, Hounds and Heroes. So, tell us more about your rescue, how you started it, and why you chose the name Hounds and Heroes.
Yeah, I've always been, probably best to go all the way back to as a little girl, is that my parents instilled in me at a young age to always be able to give back. And, when I was little, we were rescuing dogs, which they would call at the pound. Remember, they would call it the pound. And so the shelters back then. So we'd rescue pound puppies, and we would rescue horses. We'd rescue, any animal. During my birthday parties, I'd always tell the kids, don't bring me a toy, just bring me some money for my jar so I can bring it to the shelter, So there was something about that. I just had this connection, Kimberly, with animals. I can't really explain it, but there was just this connection where I felt that they were like my friends. They were something that brought me joy in my life, and were also, even at a young age, very therapeutic, because we all know animals can be so therapeutic in any stage of your life. And so that's how it kind of all started. So as I began to really get, a lot into my career and being able to have a great platform, I was able to use that platform to start my charity. So I started it in 2010, and I wanted to combine both of my passions. And so I had that animal component, and then I also had the whole military family. So that was a big part of my background as well, as veterans. And my uncle was a career Marine. Both grandfathers were in World War II, Silver Star recipients, Purple Heart. So it was two different areas of my life that I'm like, what can I do to do more? I just got back from at that time, that must have been my 12th USO tour overseas. I had done, up to that point, 2010, about 12. I done a ton as a cheerleader with the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, and then I was still doing USO tours. And then when we went to war in Iraq and Afghanistan, I started to do 10 more, and I went to Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait. And I wanted to be able to give back to our wounded warriors, to our combat veterans, because we sent them over there, but when they come back, they didn't have the resources from the VA to be able to get help with PTS, TBI, amputees as well, that need help. And so I was like, wow, what if I be able to combine my love for animals and animal welfare, and be able to save these dogs from the shelter that otherwise would have been killed, because we always pull high-risk dogs. And then also the suicide rate is so high for veterans. I know how therapeutic dogs can be. So we started pulling these dogs. I formed the corporation, and I knew Hounds was kind of, I know it sounds like just one thing, but the Hounds was kind of like the dog, to be able to say, okay, dogs. And then the Heroes was obviously our heroes coming back from war. So we combine those names, Hounds and Heroes, and we're able to start our mission. And it was, great that we were able to, right off the bat, to be able to pull a dog for a Marine. And then we had trainers that were able to donate their time and be able to train these dogs as not just, there's service dogs, but also therapy dogs, and also just the need of the veteran, whether it's night tremors, they have seizures, different skills that a dog would need to learn to be able to help this veteran. So we were able to do that right at the gate with a Marine who actually had been blown up by an IED. He wanted to be able to, kind of go back to some normalcy in his life. He had lost the relationship with his kid, his son, also his wife. He was scared to even leave his house and do normal activities that you and I take for granted, like going to the bank or going to the grocery store, So he contacted me, and he was like, I really love what you're doing. Is there a way that, I can meet with you? Met with him, and he said, do you think I could come with you to the shelter to pick the dog out? And I said, I never even thought about that, Kimberly, at the time, that maybe the veteran would want to input on the dog as well. So he came with me, and there was a German Shepherd that had been dragged by its owner, by its truck, for about a mile. So he had no fur. He was completely just raw. And he said, what about him? And I said, well, he's going to take, like a long time to recover. And he's got a long journey ahead of him. And he goes, well, so do I. And it's like, right then it was like, oh my gosh, this is this is kind of like very telling that he wanted to be able to recover with this dog as well in rehab. And
Yeah.
so it took a long time for the dog to get back to health, but then once he was, we were able to then train him and pair him up. They started doing training together because the Marine wanted to be able to kind of have a hands-on as well approach. So we did all this training, and he ended up completely getting back on track. He was back with his wife. He's back with his son. They all moved back into the same home. He was able to start doing, the normal errands that we, you and I do, and was back to normal. And he was like, you've changed my whole life. His wife, reached out to me and said, you changed my whole life. And we saved this dog. And then we saved a veteran that was going through, some really, horrible times in his life. And so that I was like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. And so now, you go to 12 years later and we're still continuing to push, this out. And we've now expanded to equine therapy because I save a lot of horses from slaughter. And so we off the track thoroughbreds that are retired or horses from slaughter. And we do the same type of thing where wounded warriors come out on the weekends and they ride horses, or if they don't want to ride horses, they just want to be around the horses. The same thing. And it's very, very therapeutic for them as well. And so we have those two initiatives that we really push. And it's like I always said, we're saving lives on both ends, whether it's the human element or, a dog or a horse. So that's kind of a roundabout short version, or maybe long, of what we're doing.
I love it. I mean, it's definitely improving the quality of life. And as you say, I like how you call it PTS because, they attach disorder to it. It's not a disorder.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a situation that you were in. I experienced some, and I'm experiencing stuff myself like that just from long COVID. So not wanting to go outside, get it,
right.
Having a dog to help you. Definitely. So how does your process work? Like, let's say you have a veteran, that wants to get a dog. Do you have the veterans come to you to reach out for the dog? Or if you get a dog, do you reach out to a veteran? How does that work?
Both. I have a good relationship with a lot of the VAs, the veteran medical centers across the countries. We still try to stay in California and Texas, but we try to help, as many veterans we can across the country, depending on, being able to do transport and so forth for the animal or to get the veteran in state. But yeah, we have a great relationship. So we have the veteran, they'll fill out a form, kind of, their medical. So they have to be at that point in their life where they want to change, that they can disclose, certain information. I have that relationship with the VA, so then they disclose, because unfortunately we got to make sure that it's, that they are a veteran, and that they have served, and so we're able to get all their records, and then from there we can, kind of go through the process of like what they're actually needing. Is it just stress and depression? Is it like I said, the tremors or seizures, or are they amputee? So they need, a system with that. So they need a service dog, not just a therapy dog. And then our trainer then goes and we go and look at different dogs at the shelter that are going to fit a great relationship with this veteran. We pull, and then we go through the process of, 6 months to a year, depending on, like I said, what they're needing. And then we then pair them up with the veteran. They have that time for 2 weeks or so to kind of see how that relationship is, and then they take them home. And then anytime, COVID was a little difficult. We had to figure out some stuff, but a lot of it would be like what you and I are doing, the FaceTime or the Zoom to continue to do like training and so forth. So it is a process. Just to make sure that we're getting the right fit. And then sometimes there's a veteran that maybe isn't necessarily ready for a dog because it is a commitment. It's kind of one of those give or take. It gets the veteran back on track in regards to getting up, have a reason to get up, instead of laying in bed all day because they're depressed. They get up, they know, oh, I got to feed my dog. I got to go walk my dog. And the dog will be, gets them up. There are some that aren't in that position where, maybe they're not ready. You know what I mean? So we can kind of figure out, okay, maybe you're not completely ready for a dog yet. And then they come back to us, and a lot of the times, unfortunately, the VA gives these guys a lot of meds. And so it's getting off those meds, and, there's some guys that have given them like 23 different meds, and now they all, counteract each other. And then some makes them worse. Now they feel like there's, voices in their head, meds are not the, good source of solution. CBD and different things like that, of course, but not these opiates that they try to give these guys. So from there, we're able to kind of facilitate what we think would be the greatest best approach for them. Then we see if they're ready, and then we're able to do that match. But we really are really diligent about everything, you know, from home checks to talking to the family members, to talking to their doctor, to talking to you know, everyone involved, the family, you know, that if they're ready for this step, and then being able to, because we're also looking at the best interest of this dog as well to make sure they're taken care of. So it's been really good. We're still trying to grow. We're still, you know, small, but we're trying to get bigger and bigger, obviously funding. You know, we had some trainers before that were helping us and doing their time, but when you start getting more dogs, you have to pay these trainers, and these trainers are, you know, certified and, you know, very high regard, and they've got other clients. So we have to still pay. So that gets, you know, costly. Plus then you have to do, you know, you're doing also not just the fact that you're doing training, but then you're also doing boarding. You're also, then we provide food for the dog the entire time that it's with the veteran. So
oh, wow, that's nice.
And vet care. We take care of the veterinarian care as well for the dog the entire time. We want to make it as easy for the veteran to be able to not have to worry, stress about money. You know, where am I taking this dog? So we've got a great vet that's on our board as well that facilitates those visits. And if they're in a different location, we figure out who could be there to help. So it's a lot of moving parts, but it works. And it's very rewarding in the end, you know, to be able to give back to our nation's heroes, and then also, you know, save an animal's life.
Yeah, I mean, you're saving them both, definitely.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So when it comes to like monthly costs that you have, you know, for your training, because basically from what I'm understanding is, you know, you figure out what the veteran needs, and then you assign the dog to them. But then the dog might need service training, they might need caregiving training. So then you pay for all that, right?
Right. And some, I mean, you know, that it just starts off with just regular obedience training. I mean, there's some dogs that are amazing dogs, but they're a puppy. So they need regular obedience training. And then they go into more of the behavioral therapy type training. And then they go into, okay, now it's service. So they're going to have to perform skills. And it's, you know, it takes on, especially like when you've got a trainer who's kind of helping us out, you know, giving us a break on the training cost. Maybe we're not the priority, you know, every day. So we've got to facilitate that's maybe it's going to be a little bit longer because we're not paying them the top dollar. Because, you know, some of these trainers can be, you know, $10,000 to train a service dog, where we've got a lot of trainers that do it for like $5,000, $1,500, $2,500, you know, that help us along the way. But you do know, you know, with anything, if they're giving you this big, you know, discount, I should say, then they're going to want, we can't be maybe always, you know, priority when they come to their day-to-day. But then if we are able to kind of let them know this, you know, the veteran needs this dog immediately, then they'll try to, you know, get this dog as soon as possible. But you don't want to rush the training as well. So it's a lot of stress sometimes, because you just want everything to go as seamless as possible, but it doesn't, as we all know with anything. So
it's very unpredictable.
So, and then, you know, sometimes people get, you know, they get a little bit anxious because they want to have the dog right away. Oh, the dog seemed fine when I met him at, you know, the shelter. I'm like, no, he's got, you know, a long way to go, because he's got to be able to deal with, you know, being in social environments. You know, a lot of these veterans want to go to parks and go to wherever, and they need to be able to not be scared of anything and be able to, you know, they do every, you know, little task that they need to.
Yeah, because I would imagine they can feed off each other's energy too. So, you know, you don't want them to get anxious and stuff.
Right.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So it's good. And we've gotten, I mean, there's so many great dogs, and people are always talking about, you know, purebred only. And it's like, no, you know, we do pull a lot of German Shepherds that we love, but we do a lot of mixes, a lot of pit bull mixes, German Shepherd mixes, lab mixes, you know, because I love mutts. You know, mutts are, you know, great dogs. They're durable dogs. You know what I mean?
When they're genetically superior.
Yes, and they're just, you know, they're good. You know, they don't have some of the issues that some of these purebreds have. So it's great because we, you know, we have all these relationships and partners with all the LA County, and then San Bernardino County, Riverside County, San Francisco County, Contra Costa County, Dallas. We've got the relationships, partners with all of them. So whenever we need to pull a dog, you know, or they'll call us and say, this dog will be so perfect for a veteran. You know, they kind of they kind of look out, you know, for us as well. And then we even do companion dogs. I've got a lot of military families that we just paired up, you know, the kids want a dog, you know, on the base with them. So we do, you know, it could be a little medium or a little small, little Chihuahua. So we do a lot of that. We've even done cats. So it's kind of just, it changes, you know, our mission a little bit here or there, but the same focus is just helping, like I said, our heroes, and then rescuing these animals.
If the need is there, I mean, it serves its purpose for sure.
Right.
Yeah. So what is going to be the biggest thing that this fundraiser and the money will be used? Like, what's the biggest things you think you can use this money towards?
The training, we've got a ton
Training.
of dogs right now that we need to get
Okay.
started in training. And like I said, we're still small, and a lot of time it just comes out of my pocket, to be honest with you, Kimberly, like,
Yeah.
because it's like, we got to get this done. I can't wait sometimes for donations. And
Yeah.
sometimes I know it's bad when it comes to, I don't like asking for money. Like, it's, I know I have to, being a part of a charity, but I have other people in my charity that kind of help with that, because I don't like asking for money. It's, I don't know. It's like, you feel like, oh, I hate asking, but it's like, oh my gosh, if you could see all behind the scenes of like what we do and what we need. A lot of people think, oh, Bonnie-Jill's in the public eye. She's rich. She's got 10 of my, no, in no means am I rich. I fund a lot of these dogs just because I love it. It's my passion to be able to give back and do something, but, we don't have the funds for, all these dogs. And sometimes we have to tell a veteran no, and not necessarily no, but like, hold on, like wait a little bit. We're, kind of on a wait list, and I don't like being able to do that. I like being able to say, okay, we have the funds, we can do this right now, and be able to do it. So it's more, if anything, being able to get this money for training and also build awareness, because awareness is huge. Just letting people know what we're doing, that we're here, because there are tons of service dog and therapy dog programs for veterans. Ours are unique because we do rescue dogs only. We don't sit there and breed a bunch of dogs and find the one that's going to work. We are rescuing dogs, great dogs that would otherwise be euthanized, and pairing them up. And that's what makes us different.
Okay. So moving forward, what's your like vision for the rescue? Would you like to have like your own in-house trainers, nationwide? Like, what do you want?
Eventually is to have my own sanctuary. So I'll be able to have a property where we would have all of the dogs and the kennels and the training, and be able to bring the veterans right there at the Hounds and Heroes Sanctuary. Also have the horses there and have everything like in-house. So we can have retreats, we can have events, we can do stuff, all right there. And that would be, perfect, because then we could be able to have people on site all the time. I can provide, housing for these trainers, which would help with the cost, because we're like, okay, you can stay here and you can have these dogs here and so forth if you can help us with the training. So that's something that I would hope in the future. We are always looking at property. We're trying to find right now like a sponsor, so like a corporation or something that would be a title sponsor for the sanctuary, and be able to do that. And that's something I would love to be able to do in the next 3 to 5 years, whether it's in California or in Texas. Probably Texas, because it's a little cheaper. But
I'm from Texas, so I get it.
So probably go back to Texas and be able to have that sanctuary there. And just keep pushing forward. But like I said, we're still kind of grassroots, but we've been able to really help a lot of people, a lot of animals. And we just pulled 2 dogs that were going to be euthanized. I mean, we like one of them, we got him right in the nick of time, that was supposed to be euthanized, and the other one the same. And there was no interest. They're great, 2 great dogs, German Shepherd mixes. And so now they will go into training, and then we'll figure out which veteran we think would be good for both of these dogs. So that's why this campaign's perfect, because we're literally in right now, have 2 dogs that are ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so for anyone who's watching, the campaign that we're working on is Pet Choose for a Cause. So how it's going to work is you can contribute your own donation to the Hounds and Heroes perk, but also we're donating a percentage of funds to the rescue as well, total that we raise. So the more that y'all donate, the more that the rescues will get. So.
And it's perfect. And I love your product. So that's what's great. Like, all my animals use it, and even my horses. You guys have great equine products as well. So it's been good. And it's, I think it's a great partnership, and hopefully people can sympathize with what we're doing and want to be able to help out.
Yeah, you're definitely a unique rescue. So I think you're going to get a lot of, recognition and support. And, definitely we appreciate everything you're doing from, everyone that's been in war and everything like that. I can't even imagine what that's like to come back from bombs and IUDs, and goodness.
Right. So I appreciate you guys partnering with us, and hopefully this will be a successful campaign.
I am confident it will. Okay, so how can people help outside of the campaign? What would you like to tell everyone?
You can go to our website, which is houndsandheroes.com. You can go to any of our social media. We're always showing the dogs that we have either pulled or some that we are trying to rescue, as well as the different events that we're doing with veterans as well. I mean, we do a lot of stuff, if you take away the animal component, we also do a lot of stuff with veterans, homeless veterans, and we go and we go and feed a lot of the homeless veterans. We give them the tools that they need to maybe try to get a job, which is suits or different things, dresses, if they're trying to go out for a job. Also just, the day-to-day needs that they need, like when it's cold, coats, this and that. So we do a lot of stuff with the homeless veterans in our communities as well. And then doing a lot of care packages overseas where we get care packages and then we send them out to the guys that are downrange and deployed.
Okay. So if people want to donate that way, is there a physical location they can go to, or is that just through donations on your PayPal?
Donations on our PayPal. And then if sometimes people want to message us and we kind of have an Amazon wish list, but it changes all the time. So we have that as well if people want to do that. Or we can let them know, like when we do a lot of bed and blanket drives as well for the dogs in the shelters. And we'll let people know, hey, we are doing this. You can drop them off in these locations. We'll set up locations where people can drop off. Or if they want to go in Amazon and just send us, beds or blankets, or if they're really, gently used that they already have blankets, they can send them to us as well. But we do a lot of the bed and blanket drives for these shelter animals that are laying on concrete and, in the cold, or during the summer, they need something to lay on.
Okay. Awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to say? Give a message out or anything?
I think we covered it all. Yeah. I ramble, so I think we're good. I think.
No, you did great. It's very informative. So
everything, but yeah, and also just to let people know if they have a loved one or a friend, a veteran service member that is, needing a dog or would like to come out and ride some of our horses for equine therapy, to reach out to us as well.
Okay, perfect. I love it. So keep an eye out for our campaign on Indiegogo. It's going to be Pet Choose for a Cause. And we'll be partnering with Hounds and Heroes. So we look forward to everything. Thank you, Bonnie-Jill, for your time. I appreciate it. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.